right, good morning, everyone. We are continuing on database, or sorry, not database mastery. Um, Wrong one. Expired mastery. We're continuing on expired mastery. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being here on time. Today is presentation day. So today we're starting the foundation. In case you haven't heard about it, it's all day from 9 to 4. I think we're already sold out, but I think we do have a couple of extra seats. There's always accounted for a couple of the no-shows. So we do have 2 or 3 seats. If you guys are the Inland Empire, I'm going to encourage you to come join us here. It's going to be all day from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. The foundation is basically nothing more than going over mastering your schedule, database mastery, handling objections. I'm going to do a buyer presentation in here. We're also going to be talking about how to get your offer accepted. There's so many things we're going to be covering. So if you guys are in the vicinity, there's still probably about, I don't know, 2, 3, 5 seats. I think we're already at capacity, but again, there's always accounted for a couple of no-shows. So we'll take probably about another 5 more, and that's pretty much about it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me pull up my notes. For those of you that are joining us on the other platforms, welcome. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of you guys. Thank you for being here. As always, I'm going to encourage you, if you can, be in a position to come join us over here on Zoom. What's the benefit of that? It's going to, of course, give us the opportunity to better interact. We're going to go through some role play, and you can ask some questions, as we are here live. All right. So with that being said, any questions that I can address here with the audience before I pick up with where I left off with my notes? No, we got it all figured out. I love it. I'm doing a great job as a coach. All right. Expired mastery as always. We talked about the time that we call them, so it is important we understand that. We also talked about creating some focal points. We talked about calling them 5 times throughout the days. And again, if you're hearing this for the first time, that's what I've gone over the entire month, and I broke it down in way more in depth. The 2 focal points, again, your top 3 zip codes, your top 3 cities. What's the benefit of that? We even talked this week about, well, actually last week about old expires. And this week we've talked about mirroring, matching, and different personality types. There is the book, the Versatile Selling by Larry Wilson. I would encourage you all to pick up that book and get to find out who and what you are about. And yeah, get to know a little bit better, because in this, it's going to help you, as I've mentioned before, creating that connection. How do we get in a little bit better? Have you ever noticed how some people just get along with everybody, where others have just so much friction? I can tell you the reason for that is because they have zero versatility. They're their way or the highway. I know a lot of people that are like that. And if you find yourself like this, the reason why there's a lot of friction with a lot of people is because you're stuck in your own lane. You keep finding yourself being in a position where you're only focused on what's in the benefit for you and nobody else. Okay. Another one of my favorite books is How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you haven't read that book, I'm a little bit of a slow learner sometimes, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I've read that book, let me see, 26 years. I want to say about 15 times. How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you haven't read it, great book. What's the purpose of it? Exactly that. How to get along with people more often, how to be able to build relationships. And basically the premise of the entire book is very simple, is make other people feel important, make them feel special, make them feel heard, understand with what it is about them, listen to with what they're telling you, versus, hey, hold on, let me tell you about me. Okay, because trust me, I can find myself in a position where I have a tendency at times of say, hey, look at me, look at my resume. But I always have to catch myself and, hey, tell me about you. Okay. So anyway, so that being said, again, welcome everybody from all the other platforms. We're going to continue with where we left off. And yeah, let's keep going at it. So anybody have any questions? If you do, feel free to go ahead and type them in the other platforms. We'll get them sent over. Again, we are on the road. So Andrea is here, and we'll get them all addressed. All right. So I'm sure you guys can see my eyes wandering as I'm preparing all of my notes in the background. Let's go over personality styles. Okay. Now, as far as personality styles are concerned, this is important. I'm going to go over them again just a little bit because I kind of touched on them yesterday, and I want to go into a little bit deeper and then go to another point I want to bring up today. A driver. Okay. There's 4 personality styles, by the way. So let's make sure we're on the same page. 4 personality styles: driver, analytical, expressive, and amiable. A driver is somebody who's sometimes a little bit curt, right to the point, get it over with, tell me what it is, don't waste my time. Let's move this thing forward. They're almost always the CEOs. They're almost always the leaders of organizations. Some of them have good people skills, some of them don't have good people skills. But they are great leaders because they are very much on let's get tasks done. They are result oriented, direct to the point. They don't really need details. Don't bore me with the details. Let's just get to with what we need to get to. And analytical. Okay, analytical, they're a little bit easier to identify. And here's part of the reason why they're easier to identify because the percentage of these analyticals, the way you find them is simply because they're the ones that cross the T's, dot the I's. They're the ones that are constantly looking at, hey, let me review this information before I sign it. Okay. Or you put a contract in front of them and they're going through and they're like trying to find every single last possible needle that's on there. Okay. And then, of course, you also have the expressives. The best way to identify the expressives are basically the people that are the cheerleaders. They're always the life of the party. They are the party in most cases, at least in a majority of the time. They're the people that, excuse me, but you just can't get them to shut up sometimes. I love my expressives. Don't get me wrong, because they're the ones that do most of the heavy lifting when most of my stronger relationships are with expressive people. Um, the problem though with expressives is that unfortunately they don't listen to details. They're not really the greatest when it comes time to hearing out others. It's kind of like, hey, look at me. I am the life of the party, and let's focus on me. Hey, you know what? Let's spend a minute over on you. What do you want to ask about me? Okay, that's our expressives. Now, as far as the amiables, I love my amiables. I have a love dislike relationship with my amiables. Okay, they don't like confrontation. Okay. They're the type of people, goodness. They're the type of people that usually will end up being the peacemakers. Is what I was trying to get out of my mouth. They're the kind of people that are just the, hey, we don't want any trouble. They're everybody's best friend. They're the kind of people that in most cases you tell great listeners. Okay. They're amazing listeners. Now, the problem though is that they don't like feeling forced into something. Okay, they don't like feeling forced into a contract. They don't like being forced into a relationship. And in that, which isn't a bad thing, because they know they're in a sense most of the time their boundaries, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to approach it. They don't know how to confront people for the lack of confrontation. So unfortunately, the amiables have a natural tendency of doing a little bit of fibbing. Of the coaching clients that I've had in the past, I'm not saying all of them, but I can almost tell right away when we start getting into relationship, I have to pay attention to my amiables because they'll do the appeasement of a response. Hey, last week you made a commitment to contact 50 people on your database. How'd you do? Oh, yeah, I called my database and yeah, I definitely, I moved in the right direction. Okay, but did you contact 50 people? Well, I really tried. I called a lot of people, but I was pretty close. Okay, got it. But how close were you? Well, I mean, I dialed more than 50. I could tell you I dialed more than 50. No. The question is, how many conversations did you have? Oh, um, well, I mean, I spoke to 13. Okay, good on 13, but you made a commitment to speak to 50. What happened? Well, and everything just kind of falls out. So those are the things we want to pay attention to. Now, how does it show up in our business? It shows up in our business when you're doing presentations, especially in a listing presentation, and especially with expireds, because you go through and you knock on a person's door and it's a driver, it's like boom. And you go through here, let me share with you my 21-point plan of action. Number one, number two, number three, the dude's going to close the door on your face. The amiable, you knock on the door and or speak to somebody over the phone and you're sitting there bulldozing them, let's get together, let's get together, let's get together. What are they going to do? They're going to back off. They don't want to feel forced. So we have to find areas where we can assimilate. And again, that goes back to the mirroring and matching that I mentioned. So it is important that we understand the role that this plays, not only in the prospecting side of things. And I don't care. You don't have to be this heavy cold caller. I get it. I understand. There's other business outside of expired FISBOs, just listed door knocks. I get that. But where do you get business from? Open houses? Cool. Awesome. What personality types? I mean, are you getting the fake names and numbers, or are you creating a sense of assimilation, building that trust and getting the right number? Or even better yet, closing for an appointment. Okay. What about social media? Building business via social media? Cool, awesome. Kudos to you. Great job. Okay. Here's the thing though. At some point in time, you have to pick up the phone and call these people. At some point in time, you have to have a conversation with them. Okay. You can't DM them, hey, meet you at the property, and then virtually open the door and then DM them and say, hey, what'd you think of that house? You have to be able to have a conversation with these people. So I don't care where you get your business from, and I'm not putting social media down or open houses. I mean, a large part of you guys are here with me because you guys follow me on social media. So I don't put that down. My point of the matter is that when we start to mirror and we match all of those things, we get in better alignment. And even more so when we understand their personality style. Okay. Now, let me help address some of the potential questions. By the way, if you have questions, feel free, uh, shoot them over. Now, we talked about the different personality styles, but what are some questions that could trigger what type of personality they are? Okay, what kind of questions could we ask people? Okay, as an example, would you describe your home for me? A driver is going to sit there and say, "Well, take a look at it if you want to see it." And expressive is going to go through and say everything about the house. We got these curtains, we got this, we got that, and almost always their finish to their question is almost always the, I don't know if I answered your question. After 4 or 5 minutes of talking about the curtains and where they got the flooring at, and how they fought with the sales clerk over at Home Depot because it was priced at 275, yet you saw an ad for $1.99, and then you found out that the sales clerk has 3 kids and one of them plays baseball, which happens coincidentally to be on the same baseball team that my kid used to play on from the that's an expressive. Or, you can get a response from an analytical. Well, let me share with you. I actually made a list for you. The top 10 things about my property is number one, number two, number three, number four, number five. That's an analytical. And amiable in most cases is that they're going to be more of a feel. They're more of an emotion. Okay. Our house was always very warm. We made a lot of fond memories. The kids are going to miss the home, but it is time. It's time for our family to create new memories, be in a better situation, and then just continue. I know the internet just froze, and be in a little bit of a better situation. Okay, so those are the things that I want you to pay attention to. So it's not just about prospecting; it's about creating those relationships. Any questions that I can answer, by the way? We're good.
Quick
Okay,
question.
go for it. Let's go.
I was just gonna ask, and I know I need to look at some of the books that you recommended, but are there any like few questions that we could ask that would help us identify the personality type that you can think of?
Sure. As you go through the script, let's kind of break down the script a little bit so that we can kind of tell where we can kind of identify that. So that's a great question. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull this up. So we go through, Chris. We're having a conversation with all of these people. We're trying to extract as much information as we possibly can. And I ask, when are you planning? And person says, I'm not. That was a little bit short, but I can at least the driver right out the gate. They could be an amiable. They're just upset. I go through, I continue. When you sell your home, you guys going to go to next? Well, now all of a sudden you start to get a little bit of an elaborated response. You get along the line of, well, we were thinking about going over to this community. We really love this about this community. We like blah, 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 all this other stuff. Well, that's hints of an expressive. And then what you start to do is maybe ask a further question from that. What was the benefit of making the move to that specific community? Well, blah, 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 blah. You start to get all of, in a sense, the excitement, if you want to call it. Okay, that's definitely more of an expressive. Or you can all of a sudden get a hard right turn, and all of a sudden they go, well, what I really liked about the community was there's like three top features that I liked about it. Number one was blah, blah, blah. Number two was, oh, wait a minute, this is an analytical. So there are some questions that will allow that opportunity. And then also that's going to be the questions between the questions. And that's all going to be subject to each response. How soon are you hoping to be there? Um, Again, a driver already. Okay. Or an amiable, well, I mean, just kind of when the time feels right. I mean, we just kind of the time that it took for us to be on the market and the constant cleaning. So yeah, our family may consider just simply not selling anymore. Okay, that's probably an amiable. And you continue further down the road. Now, what are the questions between the questions? We want to remember that the questions between the questions are always going to lead with who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. So, depending on the response that you get, Chris, is going to ultimately determine there's going to be hints. It's not one question, one answer. It's going to creating a pattern, if that makes sense. Okay,
Yes.
good. Any other questions from anybody else? Okay. We have any questions on any of the other platforms, Andri? I think we're okay. I'm kind of, I also have those guys open. All right. So what I also wanted to talk about, I'm going to stop share here real quick. We're going to jump into role play in just about 2, 3 minutes. I want to just introduce to you guys what is called a 2-2-5 approach or the 5-5-10 approach. What's the 2-2-5, 5-5-10? Pay attention. Okay. I talked about going and knocking on 2 doors a day will keep the creditors away. I talked about that. Here's the problem, though. I'm right now in Rancho Cucamonga. I get two properties that show up. One is over in Upland, and then I got another one in Fontana. I mean, Rancho, Upland, Fontana. No problem. Here is the problem. I'm going through, and I have an appointment later on today at 4 o'clock, and it's over. I don't know. Let's just say it's in San Bernardino at 4 o'clock. Well, as I'm on my way back, from that appointment from San Bernardino, I'm probably going to, right? And then what I'll also do is I'll get over to the Upland property. But the problem though is by the time I go leave what's it called Fontana, let's say South Fontana, and then get all the way up to North Upland, that could be 30 minutes, right? And then I go and knock on the 2 doors that Robert asked me to, and nobody heard. I mean, that was like an hour and a half of almost wasted time. An approach of the 2-2-5-5-5-10 method. Each time we go out and we knock on these expired doors is we actually work on efficiencies. What do I mean by that? Is okay, I go to the property over in Fontana, I knock on the door, nobody answers. Now what? In the car and go over to Upland? Nope. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the house next door and the house next door to that one. That's the 2 doors to the right. And then I'm going to go to the 2 doors to the left. And when I go and knock on those doors, what do I tell them? I'm going to knock on the neighbor's door. Hi, my name is Robert. I'm a local realtor. The reason I'm stopping by is because your neighbor, John, right next door, I'm sure you know, was trying to get his property sold. I was trying to get a hold of John. We may have a potential buyer for him. How do I get a hold of him? Well, all of a sudden the neighbor thinking he's doing a good deed, he says, hey, you know what, I'm so glad you came by because yeah, John is desperate to get that home sold. He's on his way over to Florida and he's frustrated because the house didn't sell. Here, let me give you his number. This is his direct number. He left it to me when he went to Hawaii 3 months ago. So here, let me give you his direct number. No, I'm not saying, and I've done this before with, in front of companies, Vulcan, RedX, Mojo, Arch, and it's nothing against them. They're great companies that provide these phone numbers. The challenge though is that what is the phone number that this person gave me? Well, they gave me a phone number that is not registered anywhere other than to ABC Corporation. And ABC Corporation employs the neighbor John, and he can't use it other than just for emergencies or business only. And that's the reason that the neighbor has that emergency bat line. So there are times where, as great as some of these service providers are, they don't get those phone numbers. But guess who does? Robert does. Okay. And let's say, for example, here we are, 2026. Nobody talks to anybody, anyways. Very few people are actually good in a sense happen. Knock next door. I don't know the guy. I've never even met the guy. As a matter of fact, I kind of don't like the fact that he kind of parks on my driveway. I'd like to get rid of him. I don't talk to him. Doesn't matter. If they do or they don't, your job is to get that phone number. And if they don't give you a phone number, turn it over on them. And when you turn over on them, again, I'm knocking in the house right next door. Hi, my name is Robert. I'm a local realtor. The reason I'm stopping by is because I'm sure you're aware of the fact that your neighbor John, right next door, was trying to get his property sold. I may have a potential buyer for him. How do I get a hold of him? Not, is it okay? Do you mind? Can I have his number? How do I get a hold of him? Yeah, I don't know, John. I don't talk to him. I have no clue who John is. I barely even see him. I've said hi to him maybe once or twice, and that's pretty much about it. Okay, not a problem. Hey, thank you for your time. Well, now that I'm here, I am a local realtor. How about yourself? When are you thinking of making a move? How long you've lived here? Where'd you move from? How'd you happen to pick this area? Now we're turning it over to them. And then I'm doing the same thing with the neighbor next door, the five across the street, and then the two on the other side. That's the 2-2-5 method, or 2-2-5 method. You guys get what I'm saying? Okay. Or more efficiency is 5-5, and then of course the 10. Okay. So you'll turn it over to them. So it is important we understand that the goal is to simply do nothing more than to get them, okay, to give you the number. And number two is to turn it over to them. Any questions, comments, concerns? I want to get a little bit of role play in. Oh, actually, you know what? Here we do. Chanel, thank you so much for the question. Let's see, what do we say when we go to the expired listing house and door knock? That's in the scripts. Okay, so that's in the scripts. That's literally with what it is that I'm sharing with you. You're going to go through the exact same thing. Knock, knock. Hi, my name is Robert. Let me show you. The script of is the exact same thing. Okay, all I'm doing is knock, knock. Okay, John. John, hi, my name is Robert. I'm a local realtor. Yeah, with blank blank realty. The reason I'm stopping by is just simply because I'm sure you received several calls by now regarding your home coming up as an expired. I was just simply stopping by to see when are you planning to hire the right agent for the job itself. That's the script that you're using. Okay, so okay. Let's get some role play in. That's the purpose of this. Who wants to give it a shot? Anne, are you ready? All
Yes.
right, a little bit of internet lost. Just calling people out. Let's do it. All right, so give it a go.
Ring ring.
Hello.
Hello, is that Robert?
Yeah. Who's
Hi,
this?
Robert. Yeah, hi, Robert. My name is Ann. I'm a local realtor with ABC. The reason I'm
Hmm.
calling you is that I'm sure you received tons of calls by now regarding your home coming up as an expired listing. And I was calling
Yeah.
to see when are you planning to hire the right agent for the job of selling your home?
Yeah, we're not. We're just gonna take the house off the market.
Okay, so you want to take it off the market. I see.
Uh,
When you sell your home, Robert, where are you planning to go next?
well, we are. We're gonna end up buying another home. We're just gonna kind of put things on pause. We want to stay here in the area. We just want to get something a little bit bigger.
Oh, so you want something bigger. I see.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And where are you planning to stay local or moving out of the area?
No, no, no. I'm planning to stay here.
Oh, you plan to stay here. So are you
Mhm.
planning to buy a bigger house than this one? Sounds like.
Um, well, it is newer. It's a little bit bigger. It's not too much bigger, but it does have an extra bedroom. This is a three-bedroom. I need a fourth bedroom, or at least a three-bedroom with a den, because I do work from home now. So I'm looking for something that I can actually have a little bit of a.
All right. So you want a bigger home to accommodate your working at home. That's fantastic. And how soon
Yeah,
you want to make it
yeah.
happen?
I mean, there's not really a rush. It's just more of a, personal need. So whether that happens today, tomorrow, 6 months, a year from now, it's just something we'll eventually for sure accomplish. But
Mhm.
I'm in no rush.
So you're not in a rush.
Yeah.
That's put you in a great position. And
Uh,
what was the benefit of making the move?
Great job. Well, I mean, it's really just, I'm having a little bit of a hard time. I'm working basically from the kitchen. The kids come home. I don't really have, in a sense, the privacy.
Oh, all right. So you want more privacy and also have a place for your kid? That sounds exciting. And Robert, I'm sorry to hear that your home didn't sell. What do you think stopped your home from selling?
Yeah. Um, I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I thought we
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. The internet stopped.
sold. Yeah. I just not really quite sure. Not the market was just a little bit slow.
All right, so you're not sure why your home didn't sell. And I see you list with Kevin. How did you happen to pick him?
He was supposedly the neighborhood ex.
Oh, expert. That's right. And what did Kevin do
Yeah.
that you like best?
Okay, good. Awesome. So great job, Anne. I really appreciate you participating. I know that we're having a little bit of internet issues, so I do
Yeah, I
apologize because
couldn't
I know
hear
you're
you.
coming back.
I just have to
It's
guess.
okay. You're doing the absolute best that you possibly can. Here's what I do want to get to with you, Anne. I think where I want to show up is a little bit more on the empathy side of things. Okay. And then number two, what I also want you to focus on is a little bit of the questions between the questions. Okay. What was this person's motivation?
Bigger place for the kids and for his work from home, accommodation from home.
Yeah. So what's a question you could have got deeper on regarding the motivation?
Who's more excited about this move?
Well, his focus in this case was about having a home office, which is either pain or pleasure. I would have gone a little bit deeper in regards to that,
Oh, I
is
see.
what I'm saying. Yeah. So you mentioned as far as the home office is concerned, so you're currently working out of your dining room table. Is that what you said? Here, let's reverse that.
Yeah, I have to temporarily work from my dining room.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, and then as far as when the kids are home after school, they're just kind of running around, and unfortunately, you don't have the privacy that you want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can imagine that's probably not the most ideal situation, and it's always not quite as convenient as what I'm hearing. Is that the case?
Yeah, it's annoying when the kids are around and I have the projects to finish.
Yeah, and that's the part where it's unfortunate because now you have to sit there and stop work and try not to be the mean or rude mom. So let's do this, and because it sounds to me as if you have a high level of interest in regards to getting that office. Is that the case?
Yeah, but I can wait. I've been dealing with this. So to me,
Yeah,
it's not a big deal to, sustain for the next couple months. I'm okay.
yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get that. There's absolutely no urgency, but it is the inevitable, is with what I'm hearing, is to have a home office, correct?
Yeah, this would be ideal to have it.
Let's do this because I don't want you to feel any sort of pressure. I mean, I want you to be in a position where it makes most sense for you, your family. And so you're not sitting there in a position where you're having to be mean mom because I need you to be quiet. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to evaluate your situation. Your home didn't sell. You guys were on the market for 6 months. You still need this home office, and I just need about 15 minutes to share with you what I do to get homes sold that didn't sell the first time. I don't want to waste your time. Let me come over. Should I stop by at 3 o'clock or should I stop by at 5 o'clock?
I think 5 o'clock works better for me.
Okay. So, anyways, the point what I'm trying to get at is park, stay right there for a second, ask more questions about the home office, the kids, whatever it is. It sounds to me as if though you don't need much more home, you just need private space. So you want to sit right there. And that's why it's important we always understand when we're going after this is going after their motivation, not about the problem, not about this other stuff. Obviously, you're staying on script, so I really appreciate that. But the questions between the questions will always be about that.
My challenge, Robert, is that
Mhm.
the pivot. I tend to stick to the script so much that I afraid to venture out and that I don't have enough question to ask on the spot. That is
Yeah,
my challenge.
have universal questions at the ready. Have universal questions at the ready. Who, what, when, where, why. Universal questions are going to be along the line of like, well, how does, in this case for me, how does your wife feel about making the move? Well, she's really excited because like I feel like I'm constantly being Mr. Mean Dad when the kids come home from school. Oh, well, we don't want that. Okay. What else is your wife looking forward to? Okay. Why is this move so important for you and your family? How is this going to impact you and your family? Have those universal questions. And again, they're in the scripts. Okay. So if you have the scripts, they're in there. There's some universal questions that you can use and then just insert them. You just have to make sure you understand the questions that we ask in addition, question between the questions are about them and their motivation.
Got it.
Okay. That's
Thank you.
it. You're welcome. All right, everybody. Well, off to the foundation I go. I'm basically looking out my window and I see people that are pulling in. So thank you, everybody. If you, again, if you're interested, we still have a couple of seats left. So you guys are welcome to come by, go to my website. You guys are in the Inland Empire, Ranch Cucamonga. Go to my website. It should be there, therobertvillanueva.com. Go there and then get yourself registered. All right, everybody. I will see you guys on Tuesday if I don't see you guys later today at the foundation. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye.